Sinks have leaks. Hoses have leaks. Onions have leaks. What? Onions have leaks? Yes, but a different kind of leak. Leaks from a sink or a hose, they're spelled L-E-A-K. But the vegetable this week is actually a leek, L-E-E-K. Now, if you'll notice, onions, leeks, and garlic, they're all in the same family and they all have a similar root system, right? And they're actually much longer when you pull them out of the ground. They cut them off before they bring them to the grocery store. But leeks have a pretty amazing history. They taste a little bit like onions and have a little bit of the flavor of garlic, but much more mild and a little bit softer, subtler taste. They're really good in soups. You can cut them up fresh in salads, all sorts of things. But today we're gonna put them in quiche with some egg and cheese, things like that for our recipe this week. Before we get there, I wanna tell you a little bit about leeks. 1600 years ago, there were a group of people called the Saxons that lived in around Germany, that area. Well, they decided to move toward the land of Wales in the British Isles. Well, the people of Wales weren't too excited to share their land, so they began to war. And there was a particular soldier named David. Now, David was a Welsh, and he decided that to be able to distinguish between the Welsh soldiers and the Saxon soldiers, they could actually take a leek and put it in their cap. Now, it probably looked a little bit different than this, but something similar, right? After they won the war, they were so excited that they hailed the leek as their hero, right? And forevermore, they've had a holiday every year called Sir David's Day or something like that. That they use the leek. They cook it, they put it in soups, they put it in salads. They even have little pins that have leeks on them. So it's fun to see how history plays a part with these vegetables. The other interesting thing is in the I think the fifth emperor of Rome, his name was Nero. And Nero loved leeks so much, they used to call him the leek emperor. He would cook them in oil. It has it written in the history book. So it's very interesting to see how these played a part hundreds and hundreds of years ago. The other interesting thing about leeks is they are actually really high in vitamin K. Now, as you might remember from past fruits and vegetables we've highlighted, vitamin K does something really amazing. Vitamin K, number one, helps your blood to clot, so that if you get a scratch or something, it's gonna clot. It won't keep bleeding. Number two, it actually helps the blood vessel walls to stay strong, so you don't get tears in the walls of the blood vessels that carry your blood. The third thing that it does is it actually helps to bind calcium to your bones. So these bones that need calcium to stay strong and healthy, well, without vitamin K, the calcium can't really bind to the bones. So it's really fascinating to see how vitamin K and vitamin C work together, but without vitamin K, our body wouldn't quite be as healthy as it could. So within these vegetables, vitamin K is really, really helpful. This provides 50% of the vitamin K that you need per day. All right, let me show you a fun recipe of a way to get leeks in your diet. So a really easy way to get the leek cut is you just put a knife right down the middle. Make sure you have an adult to help you. These knives can be sharp. You just want to cut it all the way down the middle. Then when we split it open, you can see how pretty these little leaves are. And if you could smell in here, you'd notice just a little faint smell of onions, but not strong at all. It's a really mild, kind of sweet flavor that leeks give. So what we're going to do is cut off the end. Good, and then cut off this end. And usually, you can use these leaves for soups or things like that are going to cook for a little while. But things that won't cook very often or very, very long, we're going to keep it pretty short. So we just cut this part right here. And what I did with these ones is I actually cut them in another section again so they were smaller. So I'm going to set these aside. We're just going to use these ones. So I'm just going to use maybe half of this. I'm going to cut them up kind of small. And then once we use about half of this up, we'll reserve the other half for later. We're going to keep those just like that, right? And they're just fantastic. They're light, they're kind of delicate, almost see-through in some of them, but they're going to add a lot of flavor to the quiche. So the other thing I'm going to add to the quiche is potatoes. Now you can do anything you want at home. Maybe you have tomatoes in your fridge. Maybe you have a favorite kind of cheese that you like. Quiche is really nice because you can add a lot of favorite things that you like. Any kind of vegetables. Sometimes we add asparagus, sometimes we add real onions, sometimes garlic, whatever you like. But today we're just gonna do leeks and potatoes. So I'm gonna cut the potatoes in 4 like that, bring them down like this, and then cut them really small because we're actually gonna put them in these little tiny muffin cups, so they're like bite-sized quiche. Okay, so once I've gotten these really small, I'm gonna transfer them over to that pan. So I just dumped in the potatoes and the leeks, and I put a little olive oil in the pan. We're just gonna let them cook for a few minutes. The other thing I thought would be fun, I just had it in my fridge. If you have any kind of herbs that might be kind of fun, just twist them in, put them in your egg mixture, but you want to cook them a little bit first because it releases a lot of the flavor. Okay, so this is rosemary. Right, we're just gonna peel it off just a little and sprinkle a little bit in. It even makes your fingers smell delicious. Right, nice. Drop a couple pieces in. We're gonna let this cook for about maybe 2 minutes. We'll get the egg mixture ready. So we just put 2 eggs in a little bowl. We're just gonna add a little bit of milk while we stir it up. Just a little bit. You can do cream, it just makes it a little bit thicker. You can hear that a little sloshing around. And sometimes if it looks a little bit too thick, I'll add a little bit of water. There you go. Now we're gonna add in a little bit of salt. Okay, a little bit of pepper. Okay, and then we'll wait to sprinkle. Well, yeah, we'll sprinkle the cheese when we get to the pan. So once this is filled in, there's a reason I mixed it in this pour glass, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these muffin cups, we're just gonna pour a tiny bit in, then fill the vegetables. Oops, that was a little bit too much. Then fill the vegetables, and then we're gonna add a little more on top. Actually, I think the vegetables will just sink in there. So we're gonna fill up these 4, and then put the vegetables in. I'll finish doing that on man, but I'm gonna get these vegetables. Put a little scoop right in each muffin cup, just like that. And then we're gonna sprinkle cheese on top, and when they come out of the oven, I'll let you know what they look like. For yoga today, I want you to imagine the last movie that you just saw. It could have been scary, it could have been funny. While you were watching that, you probably felt different emotions, right? Things that made you feel different ways. Happy, sad, scared, excited, things like that. The interesting thing is every emotion has a physiological response. That means the emotion can be thought here, but your body responds to it. Take, for instance, fear, right? When your body feels fear or afraid, automatically it reduces adrenaline in your brain. And adrenaline releases it to the body. And a couple things happen. Your heart starts pounding faster. Your bronchioles open up your lungs so that more oxygen can come out. Your vessels open up more so blood can flow through more quickly. Your muscles contract so that they're ready to act, right? And that's just one example of a physical response to one emotion. Right? There's all sorts of different physical responses to when you feel things. So it's important when we think about overall health, we want to make sure we pay attention to some of those emotions that you feel. So throughout the week, if you notice that you're having different emotions, stop and think about them. Notice some of the physical responses you might have. If you felt afraid last week, notice if your heart's beating a little bit faster. Maybe if you watched the news and you saw something that was exciting, maybe you noticed some different physical reactions. So it's interesting to see how our brain might feel an emotion or think an emotion, but then our body responds to it. So one of the things about yoga is that when we think something, we can actually help our body to respond to it, right? We can actually help our body to change the response to it as well. So that's why we practice some of these breathing techniques. So today, let's start out with our breathing. All you're gonna do is come away from your desk, push your chair in so you have a little bit of room. You can stand, I'm just gonna kneel. And again, put your thumbs right here on your rib cage. Tap your belly, right? Let's take a couple of big deep breaths. We're gonna start by taking our shoulders up to our ears. Inhale. High as you can, and exhale. Roll them back, now roll them forward again. Inhale, and exhale, drop them down. Nice job. Now notice your body's responding a little bit differently as you breathe differently, right? Notice a little bit about what the heart does, about what your muscles do, about what your face does, about what your legs and your arms do. Take a minute just to notice what happens when we take those big deep breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Good, this time drop the hands to the side. Inhale. And roll them back. All the way in front. Inhale. And exhale. Nice job. Let's try surprise breath. Again, this is a surprise. When we talk about surprise, sometimes that can be an emotion that also is exciting. So notice what your body does. Pay attention. Ready? Watch my face. Hold it. And exhale through the nose. Nice job. So you have 2 reactions going on there. You might be really excited at the beginning, and then you calm it right back down. Try it again and watch what happens. So part of yoga is learning how to be able to, excuse me, control a little bit more of the physical response to emotions or experiences that you might have. And breathing is a big part of it. So taking time to practice this each week, or even when we're not together, taking time to practice it during the car, or while you're doing your homework, or whenever you feel like you need to, practice so that you can do that, okay? Let's move into a couple of poses as well. We're gonna do warrior 1, warrior 2, and warrior 3 today, all right? So all you're gonna do is stand up, and you can do this right by your desk. You're gonna bring your left foot forward, and your right foot's gonna be about a 90-degree angle. We've done this before, you probably recognize it. Turn your hips forward, good, so your spine is long and straight, and then bring those arms all the way up through the ears, and place that left foot forward. Big, deep breaths. Now you want your knee bent just till it's over the ankle. We're gonna take 3 big breaths. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Challenge yourself. Take those big, deep breaths. Inhale, and exhale. Good, all we're gonna do is turn to the side and open up to each side. Now use those fingertips to reach to opposite sides of the room. Instead of having lazy arms, just reach those fingertips. Big, deep breaths. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Last one. Instead of warrior 3, I'm actually going to teach you triangle. So bring that front leg straight, drop that left hand down, and bring the right hand up. Now all you're going to do is, you can see we have 1 point here, 1 point up at those fingertips, and 1 point down here. We're making a triangle with our body. Now send that breath into the right rib cage. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, and exhale. Last one. Inhale, and exhale. Slowly come back up, and exhale back to heart center. Now let's try it on the other side. So the left leg comes forward, the right foot comes back. Again, a 90-degree angle. Place a bend in that right foot. Bring the arms straight up and square off your hips to the front of the room. Good, so you can get that room up, that spine lots room. Big, deep breaths. Inhale, and exhale. Keep that knee bent just till it's over the ankle. Not too far, not too little. Just right there, right above the ankle. Inhale, and exhale. Allow that rib cage to open wide. Inhale, and exhale. Last one. Inhale, and exhale. Now we're moving to warrior 2. We're going to turn the hips, open the sides of the arms, and reach towards opposite sides of the room. Big, deep breaths. Inhale. You can even tighten those tummy muscles. That'll help you to balance a little bit better. And exhale. Inhale. Reaching those fingertips. Imagine you're reaching to touch the opposite walls. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Straighten that front leg. Drop the right hand down. Lift the left hand up. Reaching again for the top and reaching again for the bottom. Big, deep breaths. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Nice job. Slowly come back up and exhale back to heart center. Nice job. Let's get ready for daydream. For our daydream pose today, I just want you to reach in your desk or somewhere close. See if you can find something to put in your hand. It could be chapstick, a little bracelet, maybe you have a crayon close by, or even a pencil. And all you're going to do is to just put it right in your hand, okay? What this does is it gives us something to focus on, right? We're going to take our focus off of everything else around us and things you're thinking about today and put it right on one object, okay? So just put it in your hand, and your goal is to try to not let this move. Don't let it shake, don't let it roll, don't even let it move. And all we're going to do is see if we can focus on that while we listen to our breath for 2 minutes, okay? Here we go. Close your eyes. Relax your muscles, and then see if you can start listening to that sound of your breath. The inhale and the exhale. Now, these don't have to be long, they don't have to be hard. Just allow yourself to breathe normally, but challenge yourself to listen to the breath. Inhale and exhale. Relax your muscles. Relax your fingers. Even though your back is straight, relax your shoulders. Relax your face muscles. And listen to the sound of your breath. Keep your eyes closed. Try to see if you can hear that rhythm that comes with your very own breath. What does it sound like? If you feel your mind begin to wander, bring it back to what's in your hand. And then refocus on the breath. More seconds. Slowly wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Move your head from side to side. When you're ready, open your eyes. Nice job. Now compare what you feel now. Notice your heart rate, notice your muscles, notice your blood vessels. Compare that feeling to some of the other emotions or feelings that we have, right? This is calm and this is relaxed. So we can allow ourselves, when we feel emotions, to be able to change that to being calm and relaxed if we practice. So that's our goal of doing yoga, is to be able to, first of all, recognize when our body has these reactions, and to be able to then say, I know how to relax, I know how to calm it down. Okay, so when we develop these skills, it's super helpful when you get older, when you're able to, when to take tests or at a job or things like that, that you'll be able to first recognize your emotions and then be able to help manage them. Okay, nice job today. Happy body, happy mind, remember that. So let's take a look. Here's a picture of how our quiche turned out. They look delicious, don't they? You can see the rosemary on top. And remember, go ahead and leave a comment. And I delivered the box full of snacks to your principals this week. So make sure that you catch your principal and say, I made the recipe. Okay? And leave a comment about your favorite way to eat leeks. I'll see you next week.